Buenas tardes a todos, mi nombre es Julio Medina, soy secretario general del IMA Spain Chapter. Gracias por estar hoy con nosotros, gracias a nuestros patrocinadores, a Prosegur por darnos este lugar tan bonito y aquí en Madrid, y a Swap Support por ayudarnos con toda la parte logística también. La agenda del día, bueno, antes que nada también quiero agradecer a nuestros speakers el día de hoy. Tenemos a Alain Mulder, que es el Senior Director de Europa del IMA. Tenemos también recién llegada de Holanda a Dado Alonso, que bueno, ya se va a presentar su experiencia, pero es una de las primeras Certificate Management Accountants que España tuvo. Tenemos también a Miguel Torres, que además de trabajar en Prosegur y liderar una buena parte de los sistemas tecnológicos, es miembro del IMA y del grupo de tecnología del IMA a nivel global. Y bueno, por otra parte, yo represento a Pedro San Martín, que como sabéis, él no vive aquí en España y se le dificultó venir a acompañarnos el día de hoy. Bueno, vamos a revisar rápidamente la agenda del día de hoy. Ya tuvimos oportunidad de conversar con algunos de vosotros, de conocernos, de explicar un poco lo que es el IMA. Bueno, la bienvenida la estoy haciendo ahora. Va a hablar también nuestro host, Prosegur, un poco para aquellos que no lo conozcáis. Y después Dado nos va a contar su experiencia como CMA, cuáles han sido los beneficios que ha tenido. Y Miguel Torres nos va a contar un poco del grupo de tecnología del que él es parte y compartir lo que se está haciendo, por si a alguien del grupo de IMA en España le interesa conocer más. Y por último vamos a tener una sesión de preguntas y comentarios adicionales para después pasar a lo que son las prioridades de la IMA. Y por último, bueno, una foto de grupo con todos los que están por acá. Entonces vamos a iniciar y pido por favor a Miguel que nos continúe. Gracias, Miguel.
Gracias, Julio. Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por estar aquí. Thanks for coming along. We are happy to host IMA Spain today. Gracias por estar aquí. Voy a presentar a Prosegur. Prosegur tiene mucho interés en que su equipo profesional desarrolle las competencias en gestión de compañías y tecnología. Prosegur es una multinacional que empezó en 1976. Allí por 1987 salimos a bolsa y luego hemos pasado por una serie de etapas en la cual de 1998 a 2008 hicimos una expansión importante en Latinoamérica y en Europa, lo que hoy son considerados nuestros negocios tradicionales de transporte de valores y gestión de efectivo, también en la parte de seguridad. Luego, del 2009 al 2014, pasamos por un modelo de expansión e integración de la parte de Asia, Pacífico y Europa. Allí obtuvimos en el 2013 un triple B de Standard & Poor's. Y luego, durante el 2015 al 2022 nos propusimos expandir el footprint no solo en las líneas tradicionales, sino también en nuevos productos y líneas de negocio. Allí es que comenzamos a entrar en mercados donde tenemos soluciones de outsourcing, que es ABUS, en el mercado de la ciberseguridad, que tenemos una línea de ciberseguridad importante, ¿sí? Luego entramos también en Sudáfrica y sacamos a bolsa el negocio de Cash in Transit. Seguimos extendiendo en Centroamérica, Filipinas y en Estados Unidos, mercados pues, en los que tenemos mucho interés de crecer en este próximo trimestre. Y luego también hemos hecho otra serie de adquisiciones para reforzar el negocio tradicional en Latinoamérica, en Ecuador, Centroamérica. Este es el footprint de Prosegur. Tenemos 5 líneas de negocio, estamos presentes en 26 países, tenemos más de 140.000 empleados y estamos en 5 continentes. Estamos muy contentos. Para nosotros la formación del equipo de Prosegur es fundamental. Creemos que el IMA nos puede aportar mucho. con la presencia que va a tener en España y la que tiene en el mundo, ¿no? En el network internacional, en Estados Unidos y Europa y también en Asia Pacífico, pues es bastante importante para nosotros pues, comenzar a aproximarnos y preocuparnos de la formación. Yo luego os voy a hablar de las competencias tecnológicas, que luego dentro del IMA tenemos una organización y tenemos mucho interés en que los profesionales se desarrollen la competencia tecnológica. Yo llevo en el grupo Prosegur 10 años, he pasado por puestos de administración y finanzas a nivel global, de ser responsable de toda la parte financiera en el mundo. Hoy soy responsable de la transformación digital y esto es muy importante, ¿no? Tener las competencias tecnológicas para hacer que las compañías puedan crecer y apalancarse en la tecnología, sobre todo en un entorno cambiante donde hay que desarrollar también nuevos negocios que son digitales, ¿no? Soy un CMA, ¿sí? Me certifiqué el año pasado, ha sido una experiencia fantástica porque me ha ayudado a reforzar muchas competencias a nivel de gestión empresarial, de estrategia de negocio. También estamos dentro del entrenamiento, hay una parte importante de desarrollo de competencias tecnológicas y desde el año pasado soy miembro de un comité técnico que es de tecnología. Pues yo con eso, muchas gracias, que disfrutéis la sesión y doy pase a Alain. Alain, thanks for be here today. Now I'm going to give you a presentation. Thanks.
Thank you so much, and also thank you, of course, for hosting this great event. Today I will tell more about IMA and where we are heading to in Europe. What are we doing here with our activities and what can you expect in the future. But I wanted to start in the early 1900s because IMA was founded in 1990 and this is our founder, Mr. Nicholson. And why I want to emphasize that is because it's actually a great story. Also a little bit sad, but in the end it really turned out very well. Because he was working for the Bridgestone company in the early 1900s and he was a factory worker. So he was doing the hard labor, but then he had an accident and then he lost his right arm. Very unfortunate, of course, and he couldn't work in the factory anymore. So then he worked for the office of Bridgestone, and there he learned more about management and he learned about accounting, and he really got interested in that field of business. So he did evening classes, and within a few years he earned his accounting degree. A few years later he was really successful, started his own accounting firm in New York, and he also wrote a book which really became very popular also in the US. It was actually one of the first books about cost accounting, and then he wanted to share all his knowledge, and therefore he started the Association of Cost Accounting in the US, which later became IMA. And today it's still about that whole thing. It's about developing people within companies, sharing knowledge like we are doing here today within the chapter, and of course also among all the other 140,000 members across the globe. So therefore I think this is always a great story about how IMA was founded. And today we are also working a lot with the corporate sector because the goal of IMA is to maximize the career of finance professionals, but also to help companies to make this whole transition in finance. We just discussed about technology and etc. And of course you also need to have a team for that with the right skills. And that is where we are helping companies. Here you see a few companies who are now core partner. The most recent one in Europe is KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines. They signed an agreement with IMA to develop their finance staff because they are really also in the finance transformation process at this moment. You also see other big companies like Amazon, Philips, Cargill, IBM. They are all working together with IMA in the Netherlands or in Europe, I must say, global. And the most important part, of course, in that is the CMA program. So in most of those companies, we have in-house courses. IMA can also contribute financially in that, helping companies to set up a CMA class within their company for their own employees. And then they develop all the knowledge of their employees. We do have the Finance Academy, and that's where we have two tracks. So people can say, okay, I've become an IMA member, and my goal is to earn the CMA certification. But of course, there are more things with IMA we have to offer. We also have all the CPE, routine education courses, we do have webinars, we have our strategic finance magazine. So for all the employees who are not planning to do the CMA yet, we have the first track, so they can also develop themselves with all the important topics in finance as well. And of course, we have a lot of other content for people to upskill themselves. I already mentioned the Strategic Finance magazine. That's also a great resource online, of course, for all the employees, where they can find all the latest articles. We do have podcasts, a lot of research and thought leadership. Today we published, for example, the Global Economics Conditions Survey, and that's basically a survey, it's the biggest survey around the globe, surveying accountants about what they are thinking about the economy, where is it heading to, what do they think about the economy. So that's a great resource if you want to know what you can expect in the upcoming months. And of course, this is really an exciting time because we don't know where it is heading to. So that's great research. You can find it already on LinkedIn and also on IMA.org. It's all for free. And of course, e-learning courses and webinars. Many webinars are also online for non-IMA members, and we also have a large selection of up-to-date webinars specifically for our IMA members, and they can access everything. And we are really active for students, because students are the future of the finance profession, so we also want to help them. We have a scholarship program, because of course for students it can be more challenging to invest in their career. So last year in Europe we had 230 scholarships for students, so that's roughly $500,000 we gave away to develop students for the future of the profession. And this is already a save the date. Next year we do have the IMA Accounting and Finance Conference. It's a regional conference for Europe, so everyone also from other countries can join us. It is in Amsterdam, a beautiful city of course. It is in the Hilton next to the central station, and we have a great lineup of speakers. We do have, of course, our new chair, Gwen van Bergen, who is going to present. We also have the CFO of ICC, which is the local MasterCard branch, and many other great speakers which are already lined up, but they didn't confirm yet, so I cannot announce the names yet, but it's really exciting. So please do a save the date in your agenda and come to Amsterdam to join all the other IMA members. Many of you know maybe that I'm already quite active on LinkedIn. I'm sharing a lot of research from IMA. Most of it is available for free. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, if you're not connected yet, you can scan the QR code and then you can find me also. Also, if you have any questions, always feel free to contact me also afterwards. That's not an issue at all. I always like to connect with IMA members or potential IMA members about all their questions, of course. Great. Then I want to hand it over to Dado, and first I will introduce her. Dado is already a long-time member of IMA. She used to be in the Board of Regents as well. The Board of Regents is basically the board managing the whole CMA program, making all the decisions about the exam, etc. She's now also a global board member of IMA, and she's also the CFO of Azerion, and they recently did an IPO, which was also managed by you. I read a lot about that on the news in all the Dutch media, so it's really exciting. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. The floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alain. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm very, very glad and very honored to be here in my actually home country. So before we go into the theme, right? Let's start. Everyone knows this lady. This is Michelle Obama, and she was born in Chicago, and she was actually born in a very conventional family. And the mom was at home. The father used to work abroad, outside, and actually, you know, the dinner was always at the table at night. And actually, Michelle was a gifted lady, and the same happened to her brother. So both were selected actually, and they were offered the opportunity to attend a secondary school for gifted people. And actually, you know, that school was quite far away from Chicago. Actually, it took them to take a commuting time of 3 hours every day to attend that school. But she took the chance, and actually she said, yes, I go for it. And the same did her brother. So from there, actually, her path actually completely changed from being a Chicago lady that could have grown very, very different. She opened the path to a new world. So actually from there, she went to Princeton. And in Princeton, she actually graduated with a major in sociology and also in a minor in African American studies. And from there, she moved to Harvard. In Harvard, she majored in law. She was a doctor jura. And actually, after that, she started working in a law company. She met Barack Obama, and the rest I think we all know. They married 3 years later. They had 2 kids. And in 2009, Barack Obama became the first colored president of the United States. And with that, this lady became the first colored first lady of the United States. Now, for me, what is striking about Michelle Obama is, apart from her wonderful story and inspiring story, is actually that she has actually said many, many times that actually for her, education gave her opportunities that actually were far, far, far beyond what she would have ever imagined. And that is actually what for me was the CMA. When I started the journey with the CMA, I joined, I wanted to have an international certification, but what I didn't know was how far this certification was going to bring me. Let me introduce myself. This is me, this is Dado Alonso. I'm from León in Spain. I have more than 20 years finance experience, and out of that, a little bit more than half as finance director and as CFO. I was in Amazon when Amazon was actually opening Amazon Spain and Amazon Italy. I was also in Booking when we were conquering the US market. I was in OLX when it was actually growing more than 65% year over year. And now I'm in Azerion. Azerion is a global digital gaming and also digital advertising company. We just went listed. We went through an IPO in February this year. So this is me, and actually, the same what I have learned throughout all my years, and I would like to pass a little bit of that. For me, what has been very, very important in my career is to remain relevant. I've been working in very, very fast environments. The more I started my career, the more I advanced, the more faster those environments went. And if I can pass a little bit of that to you, that would be my pleasure. And to remain relevant in very fast environments is extremely important, and for me that is what actually the CMA helped me with. But before we start, it's my son is 11 years old, and my son is 11 years old, and actually since he's 4, I think he spends more time with the computer and with the app, with the tablet, than actually talking to me, to be very frank. So the digitalization, it's actually invading our lives. The new economy is all around. But that's not only our kids are already in the new economy, but actually us also as adults, we are also affected and invaded by all this new economy. We all, we don't buy books any longer only on online. We buy our groceries and we buy our fashion and we buy everything, and now after Corona, even more. So economy of, the new economy, the digitalization is around us, and we better know as finance professionals what this new economy is demanding from us, because I think it's good to know to prepare ourselves. Now, everyone, we start in our career, we are accountants, and we are exposed to whatever, most of the business, I call the business, say, yeah, you are bean counters, you stop things, you are a blocker, and they actually try to ignore you or to find a way to find a solution without counting with finance, right? And the reality is that that happens, and you can imagine in very fast environments that even happens faster. So you better know how to become relevant for that business in order for them to come to you and be a part of the decision table. And what I've learned is that one thing that actually makes the difference is if you move to the co-pilot role, right? If all of a sudden the business starts seeing you as a business partner. But what does that mean? Everybody talks about, let's become a co-pilot, let's be business partner. Well, let me tell you an example. So just in my H&M or CNA, I was working in CNA. A normal, typical finance professional would see that, okay, my revenue of the small sizes in the stores is actually dropping. My inventories are getting higher. What would the typical accountant do? Okay, we record it, we assess what is the value change in the inventory, we close the books and we move to the next month, close. Well, the new business partner, the new finance professional would think about it in a different way. Because actually, in fact, the first indications of things when they go well and when they go bad, it's actually finance the one that sees them. So a business partner would see the same signals and would react in a different way. Would say, okay, what's going on? Would sit with the business, would see the big drivers, would see the real drivers for the business, and would find solutions together and would help monitoring that actually those solutions are working or are not working. Now the difference between the first example of the finance person that would have been named or nominated as being a counter, opposite to the one that is actually helping together with the business getting better results is a day of light. And that is actually where we need actually to be smart and to be fast to make the difference and position ourselves to be relevant for the business. Now, but how do we evolve actually? Because from the, especially to move from being accountants or to move from actually pure accountants to actually to a business partner, that's not easy. It's not easy. It requires hardcore skills. It requires soft skills. It requires negotiation skills. It requires influencing skills. And all of a sudden, what are you and how do you transition, right? As you can imagine, this is not easy, and it is even less easy when you are thinking about very fast environments. So I hope I can help you, or I can share a little bit my experience with you now, what has helped me in this transition. Now for me, the finance in the new economy, in this digital economy, is actually was actually very much helped by my CMA certification. The three elements that actually are most important in my experience in a very fast environment is, first and foremost, go fast. Go fast and add tangible value in a fast way to the business. The second element that actually made me remain relevant for the business was actually differentiation. How do I make myself different to the others? How can I bring this extra edge compared to everyone else that is actually around me? And I can tell you, me as a Spaniard, having only worked 3 years in Spain, and from those 3 years I was in Germany and in Luxembourg and in Amsterdam, I was always the minority. That's not easy, but it can be done. So you always need to find that edge to differentiate yourself, to remain relevant in the business and around you. And the third thing is actually open doors. So I'm a personality that, I go to a place, I open the door, and I get amazed. And perhaps I go this way, or perhaps I go the other way, but it's always a surprise. So these are the three elements that I would like to share with you. So the first thing is, as I said, so it's important to remain relevant in the new economy. And the first and foremost element that actually keeps you relevant is to go fast. This is absolutely critical. In very fast environments, the big problem is, or one of the big problems is that everything around you goes very fast. In the old economy, you have Unilever, and Unilever would know straight away who are their competitors. But in the new economy, that doesn't happen. You have one competitor here, you have another competitor there, and from every single corner that even you could not have imagined before, the next competitor is coming. Technology opens barriers, and there's actually no barrier. The users are there, and they are there for those to be connected. So being fast is actually adding competitive advantage to every company that is actually operating in this environment. That's why it's so important to be fast. Now, how does it translate being fast in very fast environments? The way it goes is you develop a prototype and you launch it in the market. It's not perfect, but you have it in the market. You are testing it already. You have the users, because they are millions of users that can test your product. They will be the best ones positioned to tell you what works, what doesn't work. You don't need to have processes ahead or at front, just testing what might go wrong. The customer is going to tell you. So this is how it works, and then you go, you launch it, you test it, you fail, you learn from the failure, you repair, you launch again, and then you succeed. And the more you go and the faster you do it, the more opportunities you have to crack it and to get actually that big innovation that puts you one step ahead of your competition. So being fast is not a minor thing in these environments. It's actually a competitive advantage. Now, but how can finance be fast? Because now, obviously, everyone is thinking, wow, we have the close, and then the quarterly close, and then the this, and then the that. How can I be fast? And you have the step 1, and the step 2, and the process 1, and the process 2, and then the auditors. Well, being fast means, what I have experienced in the companies I've worked for, is actually being fast means two things. The one is simplification. Just imagine, and this is something that most probably has happened to all of us. So the salesman comes to you, and he comes with an idea of I don't know, a new contract. And before he starts opening the mouth, actually, you already start as a finance professional saying, oh, but you need to pay attention to this, and you need to comply with this. And before you have started, you have not even listened to the proposition. So, and no wonder the salesman will not come back to you, right? So the next time he has an idea, he will go to somebody else just to try the idea, right? So being fast means simplifying. So what I learned in booking actually was to apply the simplification in the Scrum way. Scrum is actually the methodology that they use for developing, and what they do is what I explained. So they do a prototype, they launch it in the market, they have A/B test. The market, the user will tell you what is good, what is bad, and then they go. Now, how finance can help with this Scrum technology or Scrum methodology is, what we did was to say, okay, what is the minimum requirement to launch the prototype? We know that if this goes in scale, we will need many, many, many more requirements, but if we comply with all these requirements today, we may not have the prototype on time. So you go with the minimum requirements, you launch it, and you comply and you agree with the business to comply with all the remaining if it goes live. So by that, you actually help the business and you become relevant. We did it all. This actually we did it with several projects. One of those was launching different payment methods, but many others. The second big element how finance can actually help the business going fast is actually adding value. And here's where actually the CMA certification helped me very much. So adding value in the business means actually to understand that you can make decisions using the 80-20 approach. You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to achieve perfection, you don't need to be completely accurate to make a best next move. Just a move is good enough. And in these environments, be fast is better than not moving, even if it is perfect. So that's why, having this 80-20 mentality is very critical for finance professionals when we work in the digital environment. But having this 80-20 approach actually forces you to make decisions faster and with much less information than you would in normal circumstances have. No? And in that angle, actually, what the CMA was helping me a lot was to make use of the technologies, of the tools, of the ways how you can solve and how you can give financial solutions to business problems. I had actually learned a lot. I studied in ICADE, so some of you know what it is. So I studied law and I studied business administration simultaneously. I learned a lot. I learned a lot of theory, but actually it was only the CMA what helped me realize how to apply it. And I can tell you very clearly that if I would have known earlier how to apply it, I would have done it, and I would have advanced much faster. But hey, it was 2013 when I did it, and it's better late than never. So as I said, so simplification and added value, it's absolutely critical to remain relevant in a very fast environment. Now the second element I mentioned about was differentiation. And differentiation is also quite important if you want to remain relevant. Let me go a little bit in my background. It was, I think, around 2000 when I actually left Spain. I went to Germany, as I said, and you know, you can imagine, I'm from León, I go to Germany. My German is not, it's not fluent by far. My English is a little bit crooked. And I'm there, and I'm in a German culture. I was working in Siemens here, and I went to the headquarters over there. And I can tell you, it was not easy. And I had a lot of thoughts, and I had a lot of ideas, but how do you express it? And what happened was something very funny, because of the fact that I had learned the 2 degrees here, and because of a rare combination in German culture, they actually admire quite a lot people that have degrees, but not any degree, university degrees. Yeah. So that's why in Germany I knew and I saw that my manager and my peers were giving me the space and the time to express myself. So actually at that time what I learned was very soon 2 things. The one is that when you have a degree, when you have an education, you know, people around you can interpret and can allocate to that degree much more than just the title is giving up, right? So in this case, the Germans were actually thinking, yeah, she has attended university, she has 2 degrees, she has something that we should listen to say, yeah, that we should listen to. In the case of CMA, when you are learning a CMA, this is also saying something to people around you. They are telling everyone that you are fast in thinking, that you know how to apply economic and apply financial acumen to real-life problems, that you can give a financial solution to business solutions. And it can give you also another edge, actually, and that is that you need to understand, and that is something I learned later in my career, that when headhunters actually are searching for senior finance professionals, they ask everyone, you know, they have your job specs, and they have mandatory requirements, and they have also nice to have requirements. And for very senior roles in finance profession, for sure, they have a CMA, a CPA, ACCA, and the sort. Now, in my case, why did I choose? Because I mean, at the time, and it was in 2011. At my time when I was choosing, I was actually with so many acronyms and being Spaniard, and at the time I was searching for a certification that could give me the internationalization, because I was always explaining what a licenciatura was, right? And then, you know, the reality is that I was searching for a certification that was in English, that was well recognized, that was actually short in time and in my control. That if I could put more effort and more time, if I could have that, I could shorten the period to get it. And I was actually searching for management accountant. So how management, how finance actually can help the business making better decisions. And with my CMA, actually, that is all of this I actually found. I've never regretted that. I know that in Spain, actually, there is a very high unemployment rate. And I actually know also that many financial professionals have 1 degree, a 2nd degree, and even MBAs. Now I can tell you that if I would be, or I am also in Amsterdam, right, where I'm living now, if I'm hiring for a finance professional, what makes the edge is a finance certification. I can tell you I have a master in IT myself as well, and I've never used it. I don't think that is adding anything when I'm searching for my next role. Now, what I said also is the third element, to realize and to see how to remain relevant is to be open and to open doors. Now, here I would like really to share a little bit of my experience as well, because you can see for the way I'm talking about the CMA, I'm very enthusiastic about it, and when I did it, I was also very enthusiastic. I was always thinking, okay, how is it possible I didn't do it earlier? And that brought me to IMA, the association, and that brought me to the strategic finance and to the CPEs and to the continuous learning and continuous being, updated in the financial, acumen. Now that brought me to the next step, and one day I was receiving a mail, and that mail was IMA, and they were asking for nominations or to be part of the global board of directors, and I opened a door. I sent my candidature, and that was actually the door. Actually, that opened many other opportunities, because from that mail, I was part of the board of regents. I was serving in the board of regents for 3 years. I was very honored to be part of the next iteration of the CMA curricula, and I can tell you that there is very kind of intensely engaged people just thinking about what is the future for the profession. Beyond that, obviously, I also met wonderful professionals, very smart people, and actually from there, which was where I was opening as a door, what brought me as a surprise was actually, now I have experience as non-executive director, which is actually opening me new opportunities. And I also, I was honored actually to be nominated for the, by IMA, to be part of the PIPE in the, it's a business, it's a committee, it's an advisory committee for the International Federation of Accountants, which was actually, IMA was helping me in the application, IMA was helping me also in the interview process, and we will hear something in, if it was successful in September. So we have talked about how the life around us is changing, how this is going to change, and is forcing us, the finance professionals, to change as well. And I have tried to tell you through my experience how finance can remain relevant in the new economy. Now I would like to keep and to come back to Michelle Obama, because Michelle really is a force for education. And what she says is that with education, actually, you have all the elements that you need to rise above all noise and fulfill every last of your dreams. With that, I would like to stop here. Thank you very much. With this, I would like to thank you. I would like to pass to Miguel, who is the technology, who is working in the technology group.
I am proud to be part of the IMA which is amazing. Thank you.
Yep, it's true.
The audit.
Robots have entered the world of accounting.
The forecast.
But if you're a certified management accountant, you're not worried.
The risk assessment.
You'll still set the strategy, and you'll still make the decisions.
Sorry, I was just keeping your seat warm.
Because you won't be working for them. They'll be working for you. The CMA certification, you've got to earn it.
Okay, now, I'm part of the IMA. Also, I got a certification last year. As Dada said, it's amazing. I have been working in finance for 10 years, more or less, 15 years. And then I was responsible of the global administration of a multinational company, Prosegur. and it was very challenging. And when I assumed that role, I have studied a lot in business school, many places. But when I really got the certification, it was amazing because all things that I have learned and the experience that I got during my career consolidated, and I could apply as Pedro said, and say, well, I feel comfortable, I'm ready to take decisions. Even when the certifications, the name is Certified Managerial Accountant, during the program you learned a lot of things regarding how to manage company, how to define the strategy of company, how to take decisions with the companies, not only regarding bookings. Booking is a little part of the program. Most of the program is regarding new trends in technology, what I'm going to present today. Then last year, also, as I said, I received another email and say that they, in the TSP, they need people, so I applied, and now I'm part of the TSP. The Technology Solutions Practice Committee is one of 4 technical committees in the EMA. So, why this is important right now? Because technology is continuously changing, so it's challenging us in every, not only in finance and managerial accounting, also in most of roles in company, technology is challenging us, current technology and technology that is coming. Then, regarding our profession, we ask ourselves, what is the future of our role in companies? Somebody said, well, you are going to be substituted by robots. No, that's not true. We should keep in control of the technology. We should prepare for the challenges that are coming. And also, as I said, that this is a coincidence. I say it's stay relevant in the company, the management of the company. When you take decisions, feel confident taking decisions about the future of company and how the technology is affecting the company, the environment, the businesses, and be influential, help people to understand what technology is about, how you can deal with technology, and how to use technology to leverage your knowledge, your company, your role. Then, to summarize, it's very, very relevant to understand the direction of technology. Technology is doing what now and what is coming. So this year, the European Union launched a draft regarding ethics in artificial intelligence. So because it seems that artificial intelligence in some ways is discriminatory and with face recognition, for example. So last week in our business we have alarms, business, so that decision impact how we are going to run the business in the next years. So what we can do and how we should take decisions about the capital investment in new technology that we want to launch, it affects or not affect. So you have to consider how is the direction that the technology in your decisions. Right now, understand, as this example, what that change means. That new law means stop. You have to think about what you are going to do, otherwise you will invest a lot of money in face recognition and you can launch the product to the market. Use the technology, and this is very, very, very broad. So you can use your technology with your mobile phone, with the closing, with the reporting. Now we have many tools regarding reporting. This year I got a new role in the company as a director of the global transformation of the company. And I have to face really difficult challenges because, as I said, I have been working in finance for 15 years of my career. The first 5 years I worked implementing SAP solutions, ERP solutions, but it has been a long, long time ago. 15 years of technology is like another another life in the past. So then when I took the new role of digital transformation of the company, it was really difficult because I said, well, technology is the same, no, it's the same. So my surprise was that the CMA prepared me for this role because I have to decisions a lot of big budgets of CapEx, OpEx, and how we are going to launch new systems, applications, infrastructure in the future, and how this is affecting my business, technology partners in the market had changed the contracts that you sign up with them. No, it's like a mortgage. No, so you have to be very careful what you are signing and how this impact your cash flow, and when is the best moment or the right moment to do this, and how you are working with the business. You have background applications, front applications, core application of the business, what you want to do with that now. So, and you have CMA certification gives me the capability, you know, to use the technology as an enabler to improve the performance of the company and take the right decisions. I feel confidence taking that decisions. You know. So I'm keeping control of the technology, as I said, new contracts, new business partners, technology. You have to take care of them, you have to use them, don't let them to use them. So it's really important. And as I said, in the TSP, what I'm going to say, what we do in the TSP, we have 4 committees. So we forge very technical committees. I am part of the Technology Solutions and Practice Committee. So then in the EMA we have a network of professionals, financial accountants professionals specialized in technology, new technologies. So it's a big network of professionals, and then what we do there. No? So I took this from my partner, Mike Maloney. The TSP have a column in the Strategic Finance magazine. So he wrote an article of technology as a core competency in our profession. Then our focus is help members to understand, members of the EMA, to understand the current and emerging technologies in accounting and finance specifically, and how can they leverage that technology to their career, no? So to take decisions regarding technology, to their employers, your companies, and how you can deal with the challenges that technology brings to you. Then how we do that? No? We have education, we launch a conference, webinars, we wrote articles in the Strategic Finance magazine. Okay, we release an edition of the Strategic Finance magazine monthly, a monthly base, and then we have a specific column regarding technology. We write articles and collaboration with other non-members, influencers in technology worldwide that support us with that. As I said, we have webinars in the EMA webpage for members and non-members, as I said. We have a strong network worldwide, with technology partners and with company leaders. And we have advocacy with centers of the standards worldwide. So we work with the EFRS committee, the US GAAP committees, in the decisions how